ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय राधिकायै प्रियात्मने श्रीमद्भक्तिवेदान्त नारायण इति नामिने। श्रीकृष्णलीला कदने सुदक्षं औदर्यमाधुर्य गुणैश्च युक्तं वरं वरेण्यं पुरुषं महान्तं नारायणं त्वं शिरसा नमामि। आराध्यो भगवान् ब्रजेश तद्धाम बृन्दावनं रम्या काचित् उपासन ब्रज वधूवर्गेण या कल्पिता। श्रीमद्भागवतं प्रमाणम् अमलं प्रेमापुमर्तो महान्। श्रीचैतन्य महाप्रभो मतम् इदं तत्रादरान परः। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे रामो 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 हरे हरे। So welcome to the 7th episode of Holy Dhams series that we started. Today we plan to cover one of the most important holy places called Varshana. So sometimes you may see this spelled as Varshana and sometimes it's Varshana. So it's basically the same place. So Varshana is the place where Radharani grew up and was residing until she was married to the shadow of Krishna named Abhimanyu. This is not the Abhimanyu who was the son of Arjuna. No, don't get confused. Just because somebody has same name doesn't mean it is the same person. It is completely different. So this Abhimanyu was created by Yogamaya to reflect the parakya nature of the Goloka Vrindavan in this world. So that is a way, mechanism. Because in the Goloka Vrindavan, Radha and Krishna and Gopi, they are not married. They all belong to Krishna only. But the way they really enact, there it is parakya, not swakya. So that you have to understand. Okay, so a lot of people get misled because of that. In order to appreciate the pastimes of Radha and Krishna, you have to make sure that you are not contaminated with this worldly knowledge. This is spiritual dimension. So you have to understand that, because that will come only when you become a devotee. Otherwise it's not possible to understand. So when Krishna was growing in Gokul, there were so many demons giving troubles to Krishna, as you all know, starting from Putana, Trinavrta, and many demons came. So Nanda Baba was worried, and all the residents and Nanda Baba then decided to move away from Gokul. So they abandoned their residences and palaces and went and settled in a place called Nandagaon, which we will probably seeing next next session. So they all settled around Nandagaon. So they moved from Gokul, moved away from Gokul. At the same time, Brishabhanu Maharaj, who is the father of Radharani, also moved his residence from Raval, where Radharani appeared on the lotus. So that was the place of appearance of Radharani, and they all came to near Nandagaon, and that place is Varshana. So Varshana is very near to Nandagaon. Okay, so this Varshana belongs to Radharani. Varshana is also called Brishabhanupura, the village of Brishabhanu Maharaj. The palace you see is the special Brishabhanu Maharaj, this is a special one built by Brishabhanu Maharaj for Radharani. So this was a unique gift by Brishabhanu Maharaj for Radharani. Okay, so now for Gaudiya Vaishnavas, Barshana and Radha Kunda are the topmost. In Barshana, there are two hills. There are not mountains, they are hills. One is Brahma Parvata and the other is called Vishnu Parvata. Lord Brahma and Lord Vishnu, they both requested Lord Krishna, Swayam Bhagavan Lord Krishna, for them to be also part of his pastimes, part of his leelas. So that is why Lord Brahma and Lord Vishnu both manifested as these two hills, holding the Varshana and surrounding holy places. What you see in this picture is only one of them. So Vishnu Parvata you see is on the left and Brahma Parvata is on the right side when you really look at Varshana. On top of Brahma Parvata is a temple of Radha Krishna. On the lower side is the palace of Maharaj Brishabhanu. So when you go to to Varshana, you can actually see these are all very, very important places. Now, let us move on. This is Brishabhanu Kunda. This is the Kunda where Brishabhanu Maharaj used to take bath. Radharani also used to take bath here and enjoy water sports together with her Sakhis. Sometimes Krishna also used to come and take bath. Of course, in this Kunda, he used to take bath in the opposite ghat. So where Radharani and Gopi, they used to really take bath on one side, and Krishna sometimes comes on and they take bath on the opposite side. However, this Krishna, being so mischievous, he used to dip into the water from one side, his side, and swim under and all the way reach the side of the Radharani and hold the feet of Radharani and then come back again all the way completely through under the water and then come back to his place. So that happens in this place. And this is the palace of Radharani, which is very important. It is built by Brishabhanu Maharaj, as I mentioned, as a gift to Radharani. Here, now what you really see is, you will see the deity of Radharani along with Krishna. And here this deity of Radharani is also called Ladli Lal, the beloved one. And this deity was actually originally established by Vajranabha. Okay, you may remember now because we have been talking about his name a lot. So Vajranabha actually was the great grandson of Dwaraka Krishna. So he came around 5,000 years ago and he really established these deities in this palace, right? So this is a very famous place. We have been to this great holy place several times. At the bottom right, what you see is a picture of our group when we visited once after Gurudev. Actually, by that time he really left this planet. And what you see on the right side top is basically the deities that you really have there. Once, before Radharani was married means what? It's artificial, right? Just for the pastime, married to Abhimanyu, who is a shadow of Krishna only. But anyway, so before she was married, Radharani with her Sakhis went to Nandagaon to see Mother Yashoda. Mother Yashoda was charmed by the beauty and qualities of Radharani. Yashoda wanted to have her married to Krishna and get Radharani as her daughter-in-law. Yashoda also wanted to see how well Radharani could churn buttermilk to make butter, because that's their job, their business, right? Or not the business, it is their life. So Yashoda gave a churning rod and asked Radharani to churn butter. Oh Radhe, take a butter of this. Take a pot of this buttermilk and show me how you really churn. Because when you really come here, you have to really know all these things. So Radharani walked to the yogurt pots, took one and placed the churning rod and started to churn. Meanwhile, Krishna was listening all these things and he got so excited. He also wanted to show his own talent. So he walked out. But that time they were young. So that he walked out and he really was looking for a cow, right? He caught hold of something and he also wanted to show that he can milk a cow. So now this is, if you see from the inside the palace, there was a big opening through which we can see what is the outside, the Goshala, everything we can see. So Radharani is there looking at that, where Krishna is really trying to really show this, and also Yashoda is also happened to really look at there. And Yashoda and Radharani were watching outside also, where Krishna is milking. But then Yashoda noticed that what Krishna was trying to milk to show to Radharani that he can milk nicely was not a cow, it was an ox, a bullock. So Yashoda could not control her laughing. Then she looked at Radharani to see how Radharani, her going to be daughter-in-law, was churning the butter. She saw that the pot Radharani took had no yogurt at all, nothing to churn, and the churning rod was placed upside down. And Yashoda was looking Krishna there and Radharani here and wondering, perfect, these two will become the perfect couple. My son is trying to milk a bullock and my daughter-in-law is churning the empty pot with churning rod upside down. Saying this, Yashoda painted Radharani's hands with turmeric. Because by those days, what that means is, it means that it signifies that Radharani would become her daughter-in-law. So Yashoda painted turmeric on both the hands, the palm of Radharani. Radharani was very happy and she was walking towards Varshana. She came near Varshana and this pond is a place where she was coming. This is called Pili Pokora. Pili Pokora. So when Radharani was returning back from Nandagaon with the turmeric paste painted on her palms, while her heart was very happy, but she became shy and got embarrassed that her father and mother will see this. So she washed and scrubbed her hands in this pond. And the pond's water turned all yellow. This pond is therefore called Pili Pokora. This pond is called Pili Pokora. Pili means yellow and Pili Pokora means the yellow pond. If you have the spiritual eyes, you can still see this pond as yellow. So, because in Brahma Samhita we see that, right? Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena. So what that means? Everything that to see the real spiritual place is to see through your what? Premanjana Churita. That means your eyes should be anointed by what? By the love and affection of Radha and Krishna. If you have that love, then you can see the spiritual dimension behind what you really see. But there is also another significance. Only Gaudiya Vaishnavas know this. It is that Radha and Krishna are not married in Goloka Vrindavan, as they are eternally performing the Parakya Leelas, as I mentioned. Then only, also when they really come to this earth, remember the way they manifest a shadow of Krishna and then get Radharani to get married, so that the mood will be that, oh, I belong to somebody else, but I want Krishna. This is exactly what the Jiva also should have. The Jiva, even though they are actually married in this world, the ultimate is you do not belong to any husband or wife here. You belong to Krishna. So all the pastimes, the way they enact is to prove, to really show that we do not belong here. But we feel that we belong to this world. but actually you are not. So that is exactly this pastime which is amplified to tell the same truth. Okay, so you have to understand these leelas are not ordinary. And now also in Barshana you see this is Krishna Kunda. This is another place where Radharani and Krishna used to come and meet. This pond holds many memories of Radharani and Krishna that I cannot really describe all in one, in this class. So many things happened. And these Vaishnavas visiting Varshana used to roll on the ground around this pond out of ecstasy, out of their emotion, because they know so about all the pastimes that really happened around here. Now, Radha Krishna Leelas are very, very special. No demigods can perform these kind of Leelas. So during their sweet Leelas, that only the pure devotees can enjoy about something called Radharani's mood, called Man. Man, you say Man, Sanskrit word is Man. Man is kind of anger, but it's not anger. It has strong affection behind. There is no proper word for man in English or Tamil or many languages. I don't think anywhere you can really get the right meaning. This anger is not like the disputes that often happen in this material world. Radharani performs this only to give happiness to Krishna. That mood is one of the 64 kinds of bhavas in the stage of Bhava Bhakti. Okay, we just touched the Madhurya Kadambini little bit, but we didn't pursue. This is very difficult to understand. So common people won't be able to understand this at all. This mood comes only when a devotee feels the possession of Krishna. And with that, Krishna can be even controlled. That is why Radharani can control, as she has the highest, the Mahabhava even. He got even Mahabhava. So we will touch this in Madhurya Kadambini class when we resume. Because of her unique Man pastime, Radharani is also called Manini. Manini Radhe. Okay, so this is very important to understand. What you see in this picture is Man Garg. Man Garg. Garg is basically a place. Okay, right now there is a temple and that is called Man Garg. Once Radharani was so upset while at this place, she got Man. Now this temple where this temple what you really see is called Man Garg is also called Mana Mandira. Okay, so there is a small simple temple is there. So Sri Krishna asked Radharani to teach. So how the Man came here? Okay, so several times this Man used to happen, and I will tell you incidents how it happened once. Sri Krishna asked Radharani to teach him music, how to sing, because she was so beautiful. Radharani was a beautiful singer. There is no singer more than her. Her voice was so sweeter than cuckoo bird. Actually, cuckoo birds try to sing like her. So Krishna wanted to learn to sing too. But he did not want the lesson to end. So Radharani was started to teach how to sing. She will sing something, you have to do like this and go with this, up and down, swaras and everything. She was teaching and teaching. And Krishna was just listening and listening. And Krishna did not want this lesson to end. He wanted to taste this as for a long time. So every time Radharani teach this particular melody, Krishna will purposely sing slightly wrong. Then Radharani will actually to take a stick and then so you cannot do like this, and she will teach again, and again Krishna will like to do little wrong here and there, because Krishna never wanted this lesson to end. So when Radharani understood that Krishna is purposely singing wrong, she became transcendently angry. That's what called Man. She got Man, and he just climbed up to this place where you see on the right side, this Man Garg. with a transcendental angry, or he's not angry, he's a mon. She climbed there and he was just sitting there, and she would not talk to Krishna, and she would not even look at Krishna. And Krishna desperately wanted Radharani's affectionate glance, but no chance. Krishna was trying to pacify Radharani with so many means and tricks. Nothing worked. No tricks worked. Becoming hopeless and feeling sad, Krishna finally left that place and with sad of face, walking down to the bottom of the small hill. While walking down on the road with sadness, Krishna met Vishaka and told the whole situation. Because Vishaka saw what happened. Why are you so sad, Krishna? And he told the whole story. Then Vishaka was thinking how we can break the mon of Radharani. So she advised Krishna to disguise himself as a new Saki, playing a veena. So he gave a veena, and also he taught, she told you have to sing a nice bhajan. In fact, Radharani also taught Krishna, how to sing. So Vishaka also, taught Krishna how to sing nicely. So Krishna disguised himself as a beautiful singing girl. No one could identify him as Krishna. Vishaka also gave her a name. You are Shyamasaki. Shyamasaki because he had the color of blue. Vishaka, right, gave the name. So Krishna and Vishaka, then they are all climbed up and walked and went to Srimati Radhika. And Vishaka introduced this new Saki as Shyamasaki to Radharani and praised about her ability to play veena and sing very nicely. Radharani always accepts any recommendation from her Sakis. In fact, this is one of the great secret to use by Gaudiya Vaishnavas to get the service of Radharani. It's a secret. So Radharani received Shyamasaki with great honor and respect. There was some wonderful discussion between Radharani and Krishna and this Shyamasaki. And Shyamasaki was actually telling, Radhe, you should not, believe Krishna. He's a cheater. And he was telling all kinds of things, about Krishna. But Radharani was not really, to really give up about Krishna. She was arguing that no, I cannot, he is my prana. I cannot be away with him, and lot of discussion happened. But that Shyamasaki was telling only bad things about Krishna. Radharani was refuting everything. And this particular incident is actually a book called Prema Samputa by Srila Viswanatha Chakravarti Thakura. Actually, I started the Tamil translation of this book. Then, after some time, I stopped it purposely. Because this is too high. At least for the Tamil people where they can't even come out of meat eating, how can they really, read and then understand what it is? So I stopped it. But anyway, after very sweet discussion, Shyamasaki, who is Krishna, started to play her veena and sing nicely. With her exceptional singing, learned from Radharani and Vishaka, Radharani became filled with delight. And Radharani took one of her valuable necklace and she was about to give that as a gift. And she embraced the Shyamasaki. But as soon as Srimati Radhika touched Shyamasaki, she immediately recognized that it was actually Krishna. And she could not control her laughing. All the disguise, everything were all falling apart. And Krishna was just standing there as Krishna. And Radharani could not control her laughing. And her mana broke. Okay. So this pastime, the Leela, pastime means Leela, is also mentioned in Adi Varaha Purana. Deva Gandharva Ramyaya Radha Mana Bidahine Mana Mandira Sanyaya Namaste Ratna Bhumaye. This is from Adi Varaha Purana. It says, in Man Garg, one can also have darshan of Mana Mandira, a swing, a Rasa Mandala, and Ratnakara Sarovara. Just near Man Garg, to the south is a village of Manapura, which reminds one of all these pastimes. That Manapura is the Man Garg with its surroundings. Now, this is Mayurakuti. Mayurakuti, okay? So, this is another wonderful place of Leelas in Barshana. Mayura means peacock. Kuti means a place, a hut, kind of. So, it is situated on the top of Brahma Parvata, which I talked about. Here, Krishna and Radharani danced in the form of peacock and a peahen. Radharani used to go in Man as, so many times because of the pastime. This is how the pastime is all manifested, as we saw. So here, once again, Radharani went in Man, in that mood, sulky mood. And Krishna was trying to break her Man in many ways. Again, nothing worked. Seeing so many peacocks around, because this area, so many peacocks used to be there, so many of them. And Krishna also knew that Radharani loves peacocks. So, what Krishna was thinking, this is probably a way I can make Radharani to really break this Man. So, Krishna turned himself into a very beautiful peacock and danced in front of Radharani. And he also touched the lotus feet of Radharani. And Radharani was, wow, this peacock is really coming and then, giving obeisance. And he really touched the head and everything. And what happened? And what she really sees? The face of Krishna. And what happened then? Radharani broke into laughter again. And because of the dance and everything, wow, again the Man was broken. Not only that, she also disguised, became a peacock and started dancing with Krishna. Immediately, the rain clouds gathered in the sky and a very light shower of rain with pleasant breeze manifested. Thus the nature had decorated herself nicely for their dance. Upon seeing the divine couple dancing, all the peacocks, they were all surrounding, also came running. And they assembled. They really came from near and far and assembled to witness and this dancing. And they became overjoyed. And with great ecstasy, all the peacocks also started to dance with Radharani and Krishna. All the Sakhis were astonished to see their skillful dancing. They sang many Braj songs with different ragas. There is one raga called Malhara. So this Malhara is a Braja, meant for singing Braj songs. They were singing. And this increased Radharani and Radha and Krishna's pleasure. And they were dancing so beautifully. So this incident is also described in the Adi Varaha Purana. Kiritine namastupyam Mayura Priya Vallabha Suramyaye Mahakutye Chikandi Padabesmane Namak Sakhi Sametaya Radha Krishnayate Namaha Vimalosavattevaya Brajamangala Hetave. So actually Radharani and Krishna dancing as peacocks happened many times in this area. Some 100 or so years ago, there was a blind sadhu. He was literally blind, born blind, who lived on that hill, the same hill, Mayurkuti. And he worshipped this Leela of Radha and Krishna from the core of his heart. Radharani and Krishna both dancing as peacocks. That was her ambition was to get the darshan. It was his total absorption, and he longed to see this Leela. Although he was blind, he longed to see this Leela of Radha Krishna dancing in Barshana as peacocks. So he performed his sadhana with deep prayer. And one day, Srimati Radharani directly appeared in front of him. Of course, he's not seeing through his physical eyes. With his spiritual eye, not through the physical eyes, but through the spiritual eye. He sees Radharani is right there, appeared. And the sadhu could see Radharani. And Radharani said, yes, I will show you this. I will give you that darshan, this Leela. But I have a condition. Whatever you see, you must paint in colors so that others could also hear and see it. The sadhu said, oh Radhe, I am blind. How will I paint? Radharani told, you just make the endeavor. I will help you to really make this happen. Saying this, Radharani saying this, then Radharani gave the darshan along with Krishna. Radha and Krishna as dancing as two peacocks. And then darshan vanished. So the sadhu could not believe. He got the topmost goal that he was really looking for. And he got it. He could not believe. And then he was singing. Now Radharani commanded me to paint this scenery. Although he had no material vision even to see a ray of the sun, he was given the vision for the full panoramic view of the pastime of Radha and Krishna dancing as peacock. Now he has to paint. At that time, in Barshan, it was very, very dense forest. The sadhu was wondering, how will I get my paint brush? I don't know how it looks like. And how will I get paints? See, this is another problem. How will I get a canvas? How will I see what to paint? And miraculously, lot of intuitions really came in his brain. He was seeing whatever that he was touching. Okay, and this can give me the red color. This can. So he was digging the grounds, and he was picking the minerals of different colors, and he brought them and made. He was really grinding and making paste. And in his thing, of course he can't see anything, but he was mixing the colors, different colors, and he got everything one by one. Then he could really make with the brush from the twigs, and then made some hairs of these and all kinds of things. He really assembled, and a canvas also appeared, right? And then he got the brush. He actually also collected some herbs, not only the pigment rocks, the herbs, and mixed them to really make different colors. And the sadhu then painted that picture, which is even present today on the altar of Mayur Kutir. It is there. What you see on this altar is that same original painting that he did. Although it is forbidden to take picture of this painting, somehow we got it. I will tell you, I got it. No camera, no picture is allowed there. We are fortunate. And now, because I got it, and you are also seeing that same thing. It is inside the temple. Also, with this incident, we must learn something. So look at here. We may be able to see the 20 by 20 vision of this world, but actually we are blind. That we cannot see any spiritual dimension. And although that sadhu who was blind, he could see the spiritual dimension. So that is why Brahma Samhita, that same sloka that I really just told briefly, Premanjana Churitta Bhakti Vilochanena. We cannot see that which is divine when eyes made of water and flesh. Only when the eyes are anointed with the love and affection for Radha and Krishna, one can actually see the reality of as it is the spiritual world. So Barshana has beautiful parikrama path. It had, but now also it is there, because the thing is, so many buildings are coming and here and there, they are not maintained. So it used to have a very good parikrama path. So what you see there on the left side is a paved place, and where that used to be a really big parikrama path. Also nearby there is a place called Vallabhacharya Baitaka. So Vallabhacharya, remember I was talking about, he was also having a place where he really sat and then did his bhajan. So bhajan kutir. So this place is actually called Gagvara Vana. Gagvara means deep. This place had very deep forest with trees and creepers. The residents used to plant chickpeas in the surroundings there. The residents, the chickpeas, it's actually big thing, that area where they so much of chickpeas plants used to grow. One devotee named Nagari Dasa has written about a pastime that happened here. It is written in Hindi, but I will tell the meaning what exactly it really happened here. The song goes like this. Nearby in Gagvaravana, green chickpea plants were growing. Upon seeing them, Krishna with his sakhas used to come here, and once they really pulled some chickpea plants and for eating, of course. And there was a woman who was taking care of the field, saw that some boys are really stealing these some of the chickpeas, pulling out and running away. So she started chasing them. She was chasing and chasing. Of course, she couldn't really run that fast. But Krishna and the Gopals ran so fast and came at this Gagvarvana. So the chickpeas, the plantations were little far away, but nearby. It's not really far. It's not too far away. So now Krishna and Gopals ran so fast and came here. You know what they did? They all assembled. They all were roasting the chickpea, and they were all laughing, and they were all eating. By the time that woman who really started chasing, after a long time with effort, finally she reached here, and she was having a stick also. She had not, but she was coming closer and closer. He was seeing that, oh, these boys are now eating the chickpeas from my plantation. But when she came closer, she saw the beauty of Krishna. She completely forgot as for what purpose she came here. As her Vatsalya Baba arose, she picked up some of the roast. She went nearby, and whatever they were actually, they were actually roasting, she also picked some, and then she was feeding Krishna with tear-filled eyes. That's why Krishna means all attractive. See, look at it. That's why he is Swayam Bhagavan. That's it. She forgot everything. Then after that, she really came back. Now, also there is a place in Barshana called Sangarikor. Sangarikor is a narrow passageway that lies between Brahma Parvata and Vishnu Parvata. Okay? So after milking the cows, the Gopas used to carry the milk, what they have really got, through this narrow passage, okay, to the other side. And they used to put something called bamboo, it is actually called kamwars. So kamwars means bamboo sticks with ropes tied on each end with loads, with carrying it all will be having the milk parts, big parts on both the ends of the kamwars. The gopis also used to pass through this narrow passage to carry yogurt and buttermilk to the other side. But Krishna, sitting on some trees, would plunder she will actually knock, because he will be on the trees, and the gopis will, with the butter pot on their heads. They used to be walking under, and when they come under, what Krishna does? He will just kick the pots, and it all fall. You used to actually fall down, and it's all broken. This used to happen at certain place. In fact, once when I really went, there was one particular tree where Krishna was actually used to sit, and that tree is still there. I broke a small piece from the tree, and then put it in my java beads and came. Of course, I had to get the permission from the Brajavasis to take, because I remember anything that you really take from Vrindavan and the Holy Dham, you have to get approval from a Brajavasi. Otherwise, it's not good. Okay, but anyway, so this particular pastime, the breaking the butter pots by Krishna, okay, sometimes from the tree, otherwise sometimes he really comes from the back, and then just like that he really pushes the butter pot and gets broken. So these pastimes is enacted every year in the month of Bhadra, which is on the 13th day of the bright moon. There is some time. It was arranged by one famous devotee called Sri Narayana Bhatta. Okay, so even as of today, every year on that occasion, this particular pastime is enacted. They really, some the girls will be bringing butter pots, and then some like pretending that they are gopas, and then they will actually break them, and it's happening even today, right? Now, when these breaking the pots and all the things actually happen, here you won't believe. If you really go to this same place called Sangari Court. Sangari means it's a narrow place. So here in the picture, what you are seeing is actually a broken pot which got stuck in between the rocks. And as the years went past, that actually crushed, crushed this broken pot, and you can see that it is there. If we go, you can see that when we went, we really saw all these things. So now also, you may remember the pastime of the tax collection that I really narrated when we were covering the Govardhan Parikrama, at the time called Dan Ghati. So in Sangarikor also, the same kind of pastime used to happen. So similar pastime happened here. The gopis being tired of these daily encounters, because Krishna and Gopal used to come and then demanding tax again. And these again, like these gopis decided that they should really teach a lesson. And I told the story, so I am not going to tell the whole story this time. And finally what happened? These all the gopis were they planned, and the next day they really came back with the plan. And when all the gopis were actually hiding in the surrounding places, they are around hiding. And when Krishna and Gopals came, they really ran and caught all of them. And the Gopals, they caught hold of the sikas of the Gopals, and then they tied that on the branches of the tree, and they were beating the Gopals like left and right. And they really caught hold of Krishna also, and Krishna was dressed as a gopi. They put kumkum and everything, and then put a water pot on the head, and then they really used to break. So that pastime happened here also. Okay. Now, when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, who is none other than combined form of Sri Radha and Krishna, when he came here, because he could really remember all the pastimes, but out of the emotion, he was really, his whole body was really full of emotion. And when he gets into this kind of state, whatever he touches used to melt. Like especially, because you can see even in Jagannath Puri. So when he really saw the Lord, and he really got so much of emotion, and because of that bhava that he really brought up, and he touched on the wall, and the wall, wherever he touched, it all melted. You can see, even if you go to Jagannath Puri, you can see. And here also, when you go to Barshana, you can see the same thing. So it is basically the same impression of the Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And in fact, this melting of the rocks, you can see in Vrindavan in many places. Because Krishna used to go with his gopas, and also the cows and the calves, they are all surrounding. And sometimes in the mood, he really takes a flute and then he sings so melodiously. And because of the melodious tune, the rock used to be just melting. And because it's such melting, his foot impression used to just get in. And also even because of the whole rock, the whole hill, the rock is the surrounding rock is melting. All those calves who are standing there, all the gopas standing, their impression also used to be there. You can see. But you have to go wherever that Krishna used to go cow herding. You have to go there, and then those rocks, you can see that. So these are all there throughout Vrindavan. Also in Barshana, there is a very special place. Hardly anyone knows this very secret and sacred place. Even many of the Gaudiya Sampradaya may not know this place. As we were, actually, we went for a complete, all India Parikrama tour with Dandi Maharaj. He knew all these places. He took us to this place. It's not easy to reach. You have to go through so many crooks and corners and everything, and there is some place where in the top you have to really go through stairs. It's really so dark, and only one can actually go at it. It's very narrow, and you keep on climbing, and you can see the whole village of Barshana from there actually. And then eventually you really enter into this place. I don't know even now where it is actually. Only he knows, but I don't know. When we really plan to go for Parikrama in this March or whatever it is there, I don't know whether we even have time to really go through all those. But what is special in this place is, here we see a part of a rock or stone where we see the foot impressions of Radha and Krishna in what? One leg of Radharani and one leg of Krishna together like this, and you really see the picture at the left side. So that pastime happened at this place. So this rock is really kept, and of course that impression is there. They really put some nice whatever they really decorated nicely there, and we could really see the footmark of Krishna and Radharani over in this place. Now, also there is something related to this place. It is said in some scripture that anyone who were actually fortunate to see these footsteps will surely reach Goloka Vrindavan. Extremely very few know this place, including our Gurudev. In fact, it came from our Gurudev. Our Gurudev showed this place to one of his pure devotee, very dear devotee, and he really gave to only few of them, and apparently through Dandi Maharaj we also came to know. But I don't know where it is. We may or may not be able to see again. The place you see at left is Dan Garg. Okay, Dan Garg. There is a very interesting history about this place. Once, a very poor Brahmin was struggling to get his daughter married. But he had no money, and his wife threw him literally out of the house, saying, "You go and then get some money, otherwise how is our daughter going to get married? We don't have anything. Get out and then get some money." So with so much of sadness, he walked away from home. While walking, he remembered about Krishna, and thinking that he will be able to arrange something. I don't know how he got the idea, because Krishna was very famous there anyway. Everybody knows. So he came to this place in Barshana, and where Krishna happened to be here with Radharani and gopis, so many gopis. So he came to this place, and the Brahmana just came and then told Krishna about his problem about money. And he begged Krishna to help him somehow. So Krishna said, oh, you are a Brahmana, so I should make you happy. I will give all my possession to you. Wow, that was a big statement. He said, when we continued, but I have only one possession, no, nothing else. I don't have anything else. My only possession is my Radharani, Radhika. So I will give her to you. Saying this, he chanted the mantra and gave Radharani to the Brahmin. Radharani was crying, and the gopis were crying, and the Brahmin was crying even more and more. He said, oh Krishna, I came to you with the problem of getting my one daughter to be married, and now you are giving me one more daughter. This is very bad. How can I now arrange marriage for two? Please take your Radharani back. Krishna said, it's too late. I already chanted the mantra and gave my most valuable. But the Brahmana was crying and crying. I came for something and I got something else. Then Krishna said, okay, we'll do one thing. I will buy Radharani back by giving what? Gold. All right. So he really, a big scale was arranged. They brought a big scale and then they were hanging there in the same place. That's why you are seeing that. They were hanging a big scale, and even now if you go, you will see that. I don't know if you can see that. There are actually ropes actually hanging from there. Anyway, so there are two, because that used to be a real scale, right? All right, so a scale was brought. Radharani was seated on one of the pans, and all the gopis, they were removing all their ornaments one after another, and they were putting and collecting everyone's ornaments. Then they filled the pan, the other pan, and it was really coming good. And then he said, all right, you take this one and I will get Radharani back. So the Brahmana was very happy and he returned home, right? This is what you will do, right? Suppose we run into this kind of problem. This is what, right? Suppose you really run into some problem where you need money. This is what we typically go to the temple. Where do the people go to the temple? For getting money, getting job, getting married, getting this and getting that. That's what we go. Because they have alpa buddhi. Alpa buddhi means they don't know this is not the life. This is only a temporary, one of the bubbles of millions of bubbles, that they are the births that we are going through. And we are hankering for money, we are asking God for money. See the strange thing. This is a typical worldly people. Actually the Brahmana was a fool. This is what our Gurudev is saying. Like many people in this world. Think what Radharani will give. She is the source of all the Lakshmis. All the planetary systems, everywhere, all the Brahmandas. Unlimited Brahmandas, unlimited Vishnu Lokas. All those Lakshmis came from Radharani. Arey, but the Brahmana took only gold. The same way, many Pandits and Brahmanas want only few rupees as dakshinas. People do not want bhakti, which is actually the priceless. Even gods cannot get Krishna bhakti. So these people want only money, gold and money. They are fools. That's what our Gurudev says. In Vrindavan, traditionally, around the time of the rainy season, the married girls used to go to the houses of their parents. The girl's brother used to come with gifts and to really give to the in-laws and take the girl to their parents' home to reside for some time. And that was the rainy season. All the all the cards, all the summer is gone. And now slowly the rain is going to start and the green leaves and flowers and everything will blossom. So Srimati Radharani, that time she was married to Abhimanyu, was eagerly waiting for Sridham. Sridham was her elder brother to come and then take her to Parshana. But Sridhama, the brother of Radharani, was late. Several days he was late. And Radharani every day was anxious and expectantly gazed at the path coming from Varshana. She used to think, oh, my brother will come today. My brother will come today. Then the next day also same thing. My brother will come today. She was excitedly, she was anxiously looking for, Sridham to come and take her back to her parents' home. Finally, late. Of course, it was late. He came. He was bringing a lot of gifts for Jatila and Kutila to make them to be happy. Who is Jatila? Jatila is the mother of Abhimanyu and Kutila is the sister of Abhimanyu. And he took Radharani to her parents' home. After Srimati Radharani's arrival in Varshana, all the Sakhis made arrangements for the swing festival by hanging beautiful swing on a kadamba tree in the forest surrounding the palace. And also, in the place what we saw, Dangarg, these places are also all forests. They used to be here many times. So many times they used to be here. So, anyway, throughout the place, there used to be swings. They really make swings at this time because it's a beautiful season. And there are 3 kinds of swings that they used to make. The Shastras clearly says about this. One is the normal swing, in which Radharani and Krishna used to sit together as you see in this picture. And the another one is double-seated swing, where these, the Krishna will be sitting in one and Radharani will be sitting on the other facing each other. They sit opposite to each other. And the Sakhis will be just to see, swinging the swing, happily there, singing so many wonderful songs. And there is also a third kind of swing. That swing is shaped with 8 petals around and 2 sitting places in the middle for Radha and Krishna. These 8 petals are the place where all the Ashta Sakhis, Ashta means 8 primary gopis, right? They are all very dear to Srimati Radharani. They used to sit there and they swing. Who will swing? The Manjaris. And they will swing happily there. And in fact, this is a unique time. And once at this time, that's this is called Sanket, where they used to, they actually made nice, wonderful swing. And the peacocks were all started dancing, and the birds were all started singing, and all the animals who are waiting for the cool shower from the sky, they all came out and enjoying everywhere. And finally the rains came. The forests are brought back to life after the dry summer with fresh colors everywhere, presenting beautiful scene which is so soothing to the eyes. Julana Yatra, that's celebrated with many Brajavasi Julana songs. So, this Julana Yatra, which you all may remember, that we celebrated in Kanyakumari temple. Yeah, you may remember. So, that has remembrance to this Julana Yatra. Why is the Yatra? Because the girl is really doing a Yatra, a journey from her husband's place to the parents' home. Because remember, in our Vedic Parampara, a girl after married belongs to the husband. So she is supposed to be living with the husband. So he does not have after that any botheration to take care of the parents. Nothing, not for the girls. Girls don't have any duty or any obligation to really to help their her parents. It's not in our Vedic this thing. So only the son, that is he in this case Sudama. So she had the duty to really take care of the parents, not the girls. No, it's not Vedic way. Okay, so this is how the Julana Yatra. So now, the same Dangarg that I told before about the Brahmin story is also a place where there was once a beautiful Julana was actually happening there. Okay, so that Julana Yatra is a festival we celebrate, and in the time where it is actually coming after Ekadasi in August. Okay, So just about the, before the Kartik Parikrama, there is a time coming there. After Ekadasi in August, then we really do that every day until a Purnima comes. Okay, so Ekadasi is 11th day, right? Then the Purnima, which actually comes for another, so totally 5 days or something that we celebrate. So in the temples of entire Vrindavan, the devotees swing Radha and Krishna in the pleasant moonlight. We did Jhalana Yatra in Kanyakumari, but in North Kerala we don't have any temple, we don't have anything. So what we got was just one Radha Krishna, they're swinging the small, very small, made of brass that we had. So with that, that's what the luck that we have in North Carolina, nothing. So this particular one, I'm going to play only the segment, we are exactly on time, is the Jhalana Yatra.